Hi lovelies, how are you doing? How have you been? Today I look good for you. Today I dress up for you. Today's topic is about privacy versus secrecy. And you've been wondering that, is it not privacy? But according to British English, which I do speak, it's privacy. So there's been a lot of conversation online about the difference between being private versus playing out or hiding your partner. And then also I know that there's been conversations about, moving in silence and, doing things, keeping quiet, don't tell people your business, people don't wish you well, all that kind of conversation. And so I just wanted to share my thoughts with you. And some of the things that I have to say, for example, is that I think that there's a clear difference because people tend to use it interchangeably or call something that is, when people hide things, to say, that's them being private, or when people are being private, to say that, this person is hiding or this person is being secretive. I think first of all, what really differentiates privacy from secrecy is that when you're being private, it's you just deliberately keeping a part of your life or some part of your life separate or away from others. It doesn't mean that you're necessarily hiding it. It just means that you're keeping it away, you're not bringing it up. And then meanwhile, I think that there's some shame tied to secrecy, either shame or you just feel like if somebody else found out about it, they would be hurt. It's something that could, technically put you in a compromising situation, something that you would not be able to say with your full chest that, yes, I'm doing this. I think the things that we keep most private are the things that we're really vulnerable about, things that you don't want anybody to pour your sand or pour their sand inside your garage for, things that you don't want people to ruin for you, things that you want to protect, things that you want to, just keep for your own sake and not seek the validation of others for. So I think that there are very, very clear differences. The whole argument about, this is privacy, this is secrecy, I think it's pretty clear what it is. If, for example, I decide we talk normally, but I decide not to share a certain part of myself, that thing, if you find out about it, it's not going to hurt you. It's not something that really concerns you, then that's just me being private. But if it's something that I know that if you find out about it, it will change the dynamic of our relationship, or I know that there will be consequences, it actually has bearing, and that's secrecy because you're directly involved, or even if it's indirectly involved, but it still affects you. Just to be clear, I think it can be a great thing to be private. I think it can be a great thing to, keep certain things just for yourself, for your own enjoyment. And I think it can be a great thing. I don't know how to be private to save my life, I think. I go on a lot. I was still speaking about it in my podcast when I was like, I have no idea how to be mysterious. That people are always like, they just share a few things and they're always wondering about them. Not me. I can't be mysterious to save my life. I go on a lot. By the time I like talking. By the time I'm done talking, I've told you my own life history. You know about me. You know how many sisters I have. You know about my life. But at the same time, I know that I maintain the boundary of when I share things, I share the things that I actually want to share. I want to get into how when you feel like you're oversharing, because that line though, for someone like me, there might be the risk of seeming like you're oversharing. And I know that line is one that I felt like I've crossed before. Like if I feel like after I'm done speaking to somebody, then later I'm like, Lola, why did you go into so much detail? Did that person really need to know this? And that now required me to have some kind of restraint. When I'm speaking, I know that I'm not just, going off, not just blabbing off at the mouth. Even though I'm talking about a lot of things, I'm sharing things that I actually intend to share. I'm not oversharing to the extent that when I get back home, I'm then regretting like, why did I open my mouth? So it's just something that you have to learn as a person, what your balance is. There are certain things that people share and some other people will disapprove of. Like some people when they're pregnant or whatever, all things that seem cool now, our parents will disapprove of because during their own time you didn't share that much. When you're pregnant, you keep short till you pop the baby out. Meanwhile, people are having, maternal shoots, and is that what they're called? All kinds of shoots, and it's no big deal to them and doesn't mean anything. But it really depends on who you are as a person. So you have to know which one works for you. For example, my sister would say if she says something out loud, like if she has plans and she says it out loud, then it will not happen. It won't work for her. that thing will just find a way, the universe will jinx it. Meanwhile, I feel like I have to say things that I want to do. I share my plans with people that I trust, close trust friends, because I feel like when I say it out, I'll be held accountable. Those people can be able to say, Lola, I say you're going to do this, how far with this? I know that I can trust that they will hold me accountable. And also because I know that once I say something, I really like to keep my promise, even to myself, even if nobody is listening. Once I say things out loud, I know that I have to then work on it. I have to then do it. So that's why I say things out loud. So you have to know yourself. About secrecy in general, I think secrecy is obviously bad. And so in the concept of thinking of secrecy in terms of like relationship, or you're hiding money, you're hiding your partner, you are hiding your victories, or you're hiding losses, that's clearly bad for anybody. That's clearly a bad thing. And how you know that you're keeping it a secret and not just being private, because sometimes we tell ourselves, oh, I'm being private about my partner, but you're actually hiding them. How you know is because of what I said. There's shame tied to it, or there's consequences tied to it. You are hiding from somebody else, or you are hiding that person to avoid some kind of consequences, and that's just bad. If you feel like your partner or the person you're with is secretive more than just being private, which means that they are very, very open about everything else, and it's just you that they're hiding, then there might be a problem. Then there might be something to talk about. It might be, or maybe they have some concerns. For example, like Cardi B said, okay, no, let me not quote Cardi B because, okay. Like Cardi B said, if there's no ring on my hand, you're not going on my gram. And so for some people, it's a matter of, I don't want to, face shame. Again, shame. It's like if I post you on my Instagram as my partner, then when we break up, then what? Not saying that that's my own reason or anything, or that's something that I have, but that's something that some people think about, because I think it's very, very weird when you post somebody as your partner and then you guys break up, then you now go all over and start deleting the pictures. But then onto each his own or her own. So it might be that maybe you are afraid of, if I post this person or I talk about this person too much, then it's like, men will shame you. So that's what you're afraid of. Maybe that's why you're not posting them. If that's a concern, that's something to discuss with your partner. If it's that your partner wants to be loved loudly, because I think everybody has their own love language, and some people really want to be flaunted. So if that's their own thing, then definitely have a conversation about it. Be friends with, be partners with someone that has the same beliefs as you, if you're somebody that cannot just move on from it. So if you know that you're going to constantly be discontented by how a person is private with certain things, or you're going to constantly be discontented with how a person is, not private about certain things, then, have a conversation with it, decide what you want to land, and separate if necessary. Because let me tell you, being private or being non-private is one of the hardest things to suddenly change from. People hardly do change in that area, and if people are actually secretive, then that's not something, it takes a lot of work, a lot of effort to actually change. And also, you shouldn't really be trying to change people. They should want to change on their own if that's what they want. For example, I know that I don't come off as a private person. I don't think I really am, but there are some things that I do like to keep private, not because I'm hiding or being secretive, again, because there's no shame or any consequence tag to it. It's just simply that I think it's nobody's business. And so those are the kind of things that you then need to really, really understand, reflect, and be aware of what your motivations are and what's behind the things that you're doing and what you are not doing. So I think that certain things are not anybody's business and nobody really cares. Not because I'm like, oh, it's not your business, but because I think that nobody actually really cares. If I think something is relatable, if I think something is worthy to be shared, that my followers will be interested in, not interested out of baby, interested out of actual content that they signed up for following me, then I'll put it up. And that also depends on what I feel like sharing or what I feel like I'm in the mood to share. There's also stages for it. Just like I say that, some people would say keep some things private until you've accomplished them, move in silence, like I've said. So if you are moving in silence, you know that you're moving in silence to later when you're done moving, so you can now say this is what I've accomplished. So if that's your own aim, I think that now makes it clear that privacy is in stages, right? It shows that you might be working in the background, but at some point you show it. Meanwhile, secrecy means that you never ever intend to show it in any kind of way. For example, Beyonce is known as a private person. Literally has a line in a song that you want to party with the queen, you're going to have to sign a non-disclosure. You know that everybody knows that she's a private person. However, do you see her out? Do you see her with her husband, her children? You don't know what's really going on in there. She doesn't really say anything. However, she will share some things in her lyrics, in her music. She will share some things, you know. And so she controls what she shares. She's keeping them private, but it doesn't mean that she's hiding them. She's not hiding them. You know what her family is. You know she goes out. You know what her best friends are. You know what she values. Do you understand what I mean? But there's no hiding. There's no, you know. Is this a language? God. So pay attention to yourself. Are you the kind of person that things work better for you? Your emotional well-being self relies on you keeping things private. Like if you talk too much about some things, you feel like, why did I share that though? Then pay attention to yourself and share less. And if you feel like you're someone that, if I speak things, I'm speaking them into existence. If I speak it to somebody that I trust, then I know that this is going to find its way to me, then definitely speak about it. I think that there's no topic or no aspect in your life that you should not be able to talk about and talk about freely. However, I think that you can be able to control what you do share about those things. So you can keep some certain parts of those things private, but it should not be that you should not be able to speak about it. If there's anything that you can't actually speak about, that you are outrightly denying that you have, or you are just, going out of your way deliberately to hide or to not speak about, then that's secrecy. Somebody asks you about it, you point blank lie. That's secrecy, and that's no longer privacy. So if you're point blank lying, or you're hiding, or you're just dodging, that's already a problem. You should be able to speak openly about the things. If you're directly questioned about it, that's how you know that you're being directly questioned about it, but you know what you want to share. Also, know what the difference is to you, and don't be a secretive person, because if you keep quiet on your matter, your whole body will keep quiet on the matter for you. What's that Yoruba thing? Say your badake, badake. The point is that don't be secretive, Sha. Is bad. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I hope that was enlightening in some type of way. So let me know if there's any time that you've ever felt that you were being private, or people have felt that you were being secretive instead, or maybe you feel like you would like to be more private and you feel like you overshare. Any of the things that I mentioned that you can totally relate to, let me know in the comments, and please share this video with anyone that may find it useful and that you think may find this interesting. And also again, make sure that you subscribe. Make sure that you are subscribed and that you like this video. Liking is so important because it allows other people to see the video. And do you not want this girl's video to be seen? The answer is yes. The answer is yes. Yes, you want this girl's video to be seen. Thank you.